Hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again with another installment of my ongoing series, Till the Fabled End, in which I go through every single DC Vertigo Fables Deluxe Edition, one after another. Today we are looking at book 4 of the Fables Deluxe Edition line. Here we have it. This is the artwork for the cover. This is the spine, as we've been seeing, very consistent with all the others. And this is the back, again, very consistent. Random side note, a lot of people think the TV show Once Upon a Time is based upon Fables. It absolutely isn't, but clearly it's ripped off the core idea, which is fairy tales living in modern society in New York, etc, but it's nowhere near as good as this. I've only ever seen season 1, and it was basically terrible. But there we are, that's my opinion. Anyway, this is the back. Inside blurb is pull quotes from a variety of publications, and again on the back, no doubt, here we have it, we have Bill Willingham and the bio quote, and again purple end pages, so really incredibly consistent across this line. Let's look at the deluxe edition under the dust jacket. We've got the cover, and as usual it is a full painted cover, so let's pop this open, and there we have it, and this will be the thumbnail for the video as well. There we go. So, let's dive into it. What is contained inside this? Well, I love this image. This is one of the covers. We'll talk about this later on when we get to it, but I love that image. So beautiful. So this contains issues 28 to 33. So it says that there, 28 to 33, and Fables 1001 Nights of Snowfall, which we'll talk about in quite a bit of detail. So let's have a look at it. We have this story here, War Stories Part 1, so that's 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So those are the issues, and then we have 1001 Nights of Snowfall, which again we'll talk about in a second. So let's have a flick through. An introduction. This introduction sucks. It's written by someone who's a literary professor who says they know loads about comics and the professor of literary theory or something like that. What does it say? An introduction from noted comics scholar Jess Nevins. Never heard of you, Jess Nevins. Also, a lot of this was just pretentious drivel, as far as I was concerned. So that's a bit of a shame. So this is the issue 28. And then we go into it. And yeah, this is, again, one of those flashback vignettes. It's just a story of Bigby's life. Check out Bigby in a white tuxedo. So this was a decent story. Enjoyed that. He's got a second part here, which is issue 29. That looks like Cinderella, but it's not. So this is a story set in World War II with Nazis and Bigby Wolf and various bits and pieces, and there we have it. Then we have the Mean Seasons. This is a 4-issue story arc. And how can I avoid spoilers in this? Basically, it's about Snow White and Bigby and a bunch of other things. Also, it's about Prince Charming, who was ascended to a place of power and privilege in Fabletown. Yeah. It's a decent story, lots of other stuff going on. Usual interesting framing in the way the stories and pages are composed. Cinderella, Bigby, one of the enemy soldiers. But yeah, as we say, standardised, unusual kind of framing. Done in a really nice way. Like the artwork, is very competent for what it is. The writing is good, the story is good. And actually in this part we see Boy Blue, who's this character, setting up the next deluxe edition, which is awesome from what I recall when I read it in trades. As you can see, the artwork is very competent. It's very decent. It's a lot about Snow White and Bigby Wolf's relationship. Spoiler warning, they have a relationship, but it's a really key and pivotal part of the story, as well as the evolving nature of the Fables in Fabletown, the relationship of Fabletown with New York City, and just the politics within Fabletown, the different characters and so on and so forth. Look at that picture. Stellar. I would love to have that as a display, or a poster or something. Anyway, continuing on. Decent, solid story, continues the narrative, it's compelling. Prince Charming becomes an increasingly interesting character. I love his characterization and the character arc thereof. And yeah, just continues. And that takes us to the end. That's issue 28 to 33. Then we have 1001 Nights of Snowfall. Now, to talk about this, what I have to point out, as I pointed out in previous videos, is that the issues collected in the deluxe editions vary quite a bit from the trade paperbacks. In fact, I'll show you the trade paperbacks here. And so what we can see is that here we've got Deluxe Edition 4, but it's not like the Deluxe Editions contain 2 trade paperbacks in each one. That's obviously not the case. As well as that, this Deluxe Edition, as well as containing the Mean Seasons trade paperback, also contains the 1001 Nights of Snowfall. Now, this is a trade paperback that's also available as a standard-sized hardcover. More on that in a second. I'm going to show it on screen in a minute. And what this is an OGN, or original graphic novel, so actually a graphic novel, which is a story composed, look at this artwork, it's beautiful. It's a story composed just like 1001 Arabian Nights, except it's Snow White in the role of Scheherazade, and it's her telling a whole bunch of stories to the evil Arabian prince. And for example, this is one story she tells, and this actually is a really good, interesting bit of backstory for Snow White. And again, I strongly recommend it. Then it cuts from her telling this story about herself back to the evil king, and then it goes to another story, and then it goes to another story. And each story is typified by a different artist doing it, so it's very distinctive. And here we have yet another story. So this is The Runt. And each of these stories is about the Fables in Fabletown. This one's about Bigby Wolf and how he came to be. And each one, step by step, kind of exposes a little bit more about the backstory and the history. And then again, she's speaking to the king. And then again, we have another story. So you get an idea of the cadence. It's essentially a modernized, Fable-specific version of 1001 Arabian Nights, with Snow White doing the telling, and the stories themselves, rather than being things like Sinbad and Aladdin and Alibaba and all the other sorts of things that are in Arabian Nights, they're all Fable-focused backstories. So it provides a lot of really useful, interesting context about characters that we've slowly been getting used to and familiar with. So frankly, I thought this was a great read. It was really well put together, and it fits in really well here with the rest of the story that you've read up to date. And it's a decent original graphic novel. Even though it's composed of lots of separate stories, it was released as a one and done original graphic novel. And then again, it ends here with Snow White speaking to the king after 1001 nights of telling him stories, and then eventually it comes to an end, and that's the end of that. So it's worth noting that all of this, where are we now? Yeah, all of this is not any Fable single issues. All this is 1001 Nights of Snowfall. Now after that, you've got the couple of usual trade paperback extras, just a bit of artwork, nothing especially to write home about. And then you've got some biography details. Now, because I'm only human and I make mistakes, I hadn't read this as a deluxe edition, and I wasn't aware that 1001 Nights of Snowfall was in this. So I bought it as a separate thing. Let's have a look at this. Let me put the deluxe away. So we'll just put there. And what we have is Fables 1001 Nights of Snowfall. First things first, this cover is beautiful. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a 3D embossed cover. So you can actually feel, and you can hear this. It's actually a ridged, raised text on the cover, which is a beautiful effect. And the image, of course, is the image we were just looking at, which is just stunning. It's a really nice, sumptuous, matte kind of dust jacket. It's not gloss, but it works really well. This is the inside flap. This is the rear flap there. And actually, what's under the... Ooh, oh, that is classy, isn't it? That is classy. Be honest, that is a classy bit of dust jacket, an actual hardcover design. Inside here, you have the exact issues, or the exact original graphic novel that we literally just looked at in the deluxe edition. So it's the exact same thing. Snow White telling stories, and then these are the stories that she is telling. So I'm not going to go over this in tedious detail, but it's exactly the thing. Essentially, I bought this not realizing it was already in one of my deluxe editions. I think chances are I probably just fell in love with the design. Oh, speaking of which, you can see it here. Can you see it here? I think you just about can. Like I say, the text and so on is raised, so you can see it has been stamped in from this side. So, I have this and I don't need it, which means, for long-time viewers of my channel, giveaway time. If anyone wants Fables 1001 Nights of Snowfall in brand new mint condition, please comment below and let me know. and then I will select a winner out of all the comments at some point when I get around to doing that. I'll contact you. I'll ask you to email me your contact details, and I will post it to you at my own cost. A couple of caveats. I don't want any money for it. I'm just going to post it as a gift to whoever. I always try to do that when I do my giveaways. It's going to be UK only, and the reason I say that is because I do not fancy paying for postage to the States or anywhere else in the world. And what else? Oh, it's not open to previous winners. So if you're some of the 3 or 4 people that have previously won stuff on my channel when I've done these kind of very arbitrary giveaways, then unfortunately I won't be sending it to you. Unless I guess no one else wants it. If no one else wants it, then yeah, fuck it, why not? Yeah, so if you want this as a gift, as a random, just for being a supporter of the Thomas Judge YouTube channel, then just please let me know. Otherwise, let's slide that to one side. Otherwise, this is it, Deluxe Edition Book 4. The homework for next week is, unsurprisingly, the Deluxe Edition Book 5. I'll see everyone then.
Alright, thanks for watching everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at I am Thomas Judge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.